Greetings and salutations to anyone who's out there. Apologies for being rather late. I've been having a lot of problems with the internet at home recently. I spent an hour this evening on the phone to internet service providers, etc., etc. But yes, so we are here with a very, impromptu, more Wobots from last week. I've built all the Wobots that I had, and they are all been primed for painting. Yes, so it's lots of stuff to be getting on with. Happy hump day to those that practice it. And well, I'm here. I'm here now. Wasn't here the weekend. I can't even remember why I wasn't here the weekend. There's stuff going on, but that's my problem, not your problem. So anyway. Let's reference, we need reference. Got some reference. We've also got a new box as well. I'm just going to count up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15. Yes. So I bought a new storage box today. So this has got 24 compartments in it. So I can get most of the 32 mil based models in there. Tanks I'll put in one of these smaller boxes that I have. So it's sort of trying to keep things small scale together, because it's all storage solutions. That's what we like here, storage solutions. And at $2.99 for a box. This is from the shop called The Range, which is a UK based store. General bric-a-brac, usual rubbish. But yeah, so that's the box. 24 compartments. You can pull out certain bits, but that's what we want, to store 32 mil based models. Right. Let's use a bib checker. So how has everybody been this week? Wherever you are, whatever you do, what's happening, people? It's been a stinker. Plastic Painter, sup? Hey buddy. How are you? It's just been a pig of an evening so far, hence me being late. Had to do some checks on my internet here because I've been dealing with the house internet because that's a bit crap, and it's Sky as well, so been having lots of issues with that recently, so can't watch things, you know, which you're paying out lots of money for a service and you want to be able to do it. Ah, Toothache, that is the worst. You have my really have my sympathies in that one. Oh, tooth. Oh my god, yeah, no, not good. At the end of hopefully getting an appointment booked tomorrow for examination and treatment. Yeah, there's the there's that stuff for you, not Bonjela, but there's a tooth thing that I get. I can't even remember the name of it. But it's like little. It comes in a very little tube of stuff, but it numbs the fuck out of raw nerve endings. It comes back. You get it from like Tesco's and stuff like that. So whenever I get a bit of a toothache or something, that's the stuff that I use. Or whiskey. Yeah, gargling with a bit of whiskey. It may not work as well, but it sort of takes your mind off things. And hopefully it'll get that sorted out for you tomorrow. Fingers crossed for you, buddy. The worst sort of toothache I remember having was years and years and years and years ago. I was like 19. I was holding down 2 jobs, and one of them was working in Pizza Hut. And basically, with the Pizza Hut job, it was helping with the social side of things and meeting people, as you do. It was a very social place. Like you end up going out to clubs and stuff on nights off or whatever between several of you and all that. But we ended up round one of the waitress's house with a couple of us and drinking and smoking and all sorts, doing dares and stuff. I remember one of them, which I had to like a truth or dare or something like that, and I went for the dare, and they made me. I had to basically open my mouth and let them like pour like mayonnaise and garlic into my mouth, which I did because, you know, I was young and stupid. You know, and it was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning, doing silly games and stuff. To be fair, we'd only gotten back there about 11:30, so it's been a bugger. Looks like a re-glue job. And then next morning got up and, you know, and get myself sorted out. And obviously this was impromptu, so I had no like toothpaste or anything with me because I wasn't expecting to go around to someone's house. So I started feeling really like crap with the tooth, and it was excruciating pain. So I managed to find a dentist, went down there and basically had, you know, asked them, like, you know, had to have the tooth out, mate. That's what it comes down to. Got to be 30 quid to get that done. I really felt sorry for the dentist because, as I said, I hadn't been home. I had no toothpaste or anything like that. And literally, I had like morning after breath, but on steroids because of the amount of garlic and smoking and alcohol and all that. I must have been a fucking nightmare. I'm the thing that, like, you know, I'm like the boogeyman to dentists that day. I really did feel sorry for him. But, you know, when you're in so much pain, you really don't give a shit. You just want somebody to help you, and I said it cost me 30 quid for the privilege, but he got it done, ripped that fucking thing out, and it was like, oh. So, you know, a bit numb from the removal, but it was gone and it weren't going to trouble me anymore. But yeah, Toothache is the pits. I have to let that dry before attempting to paint that. I don't like whiskey. Now, neat whiskey I'm not a big fan of in general. Like, I'll drink like Jack Daniels and Coke, or Jack Daniels and Pepsi Max in my case. But yeah, I don't. Sorry, fancy in my drink. Hair or something. Yeah, it's not never fun. Got online tonight at least. For how long, we don't know. But it's getting. As I said before, these Vallejo metallics are such good metallic paints. A minimal amount of paint for the maximum amount of coverage. The old jet exhaust, which is quite a dark metallic silver, so kind of like lead belcher but with added Nolan oil to glaze it down, so that's how it comes out naturally. So, these Vorax are such a fiddly little kit to get together. They're quite tricksy. So getting these sorted out. So it just makes good use of this, the paint itself, because it's quite thin. You don't lose the detail, which is really, really quite handy with models of this scale, because thick paint is not your friend. In most situations anyway, I always tend to use like air versions of paints, especially like the GW ones, because I know we have Mr. Duncan Rhodes who would always say, you know, 2 thin coats. Well, I just go with the 1 thin coat of air quality paints. It's like it's already done the work for you. But you know, that's a personal preference. That's my personal preference. Hey, Ali Cord, keep it up, Forge. I'm heading out to lunch with a friend, but you're amazing. Well, thank you very much, Ali Cord. It's motivation that is finest. Thank you. You have a lovely lunch with your friend, and I hope you have lots to chat about. It's always nice to meet up with buddies. Oh, now I knew it was a bit loose. So at the moment this is the penultimate base. Making sure that you've got everything covered. Yeah. Another one. So 3 pops of that paint done then. While I was saying that, let's see if I can get a little bit more out of that, because notice I missed a bit there. So that's them taken care of. And that's what. Oh. Good. Oh, there you go. So these little fellas. That's what we're aiming to get with ours at some point. Hey there, boss. I was just thinking about you. I know I haven't sent my weekly Wednesday Happy Hump Day. How are you? Message. Oh dear. So, top up on the old drink because might as well. We are going with vodka at the moment of the Grey Goose variety. This is one of my Christmas presents. Might have been from last year, but still, I love a bit of Grey Goose. And Fanta. I'm assuming you're doing some hobby, trying to finish off those that commission of yours that you've been working on. I'm assuming. Gosh. Cheers. Just opened a wet palette and it was green. Oh no. Oh no, no. That's not good. Not that I use wet palettes, but if it's green, anything being green is never good. I just opened my sandwich and it was green. But that's the lettuce, sir. It doesn't matter. It's green. I cannot abide green. I love green. But for wet palettes, I don't think that's good. The old yuckiness. I use dish rags, so I just threw them. Don't blame me. Green and black, not gonna lie. Oh, ah! Yeah, no. As soon as I see like a bit of like mold on like something, it's like I don't need extra penicillin, thanks. It's not what I'm here for. I know what you meant, don't you worry. I know crystallese. I do it myself from time to time. Where the hell is my... Oh, there it is, hiding. Yeah, go on then. Send it over. I'll we'll see how that looks. What you've done with it. Because you and Rob were on last week, weren't it? So has it like been a week since you last did any sort of painting? Oh. Well, it's not as bad as I imagined it. So, but yeah, you can definitely see that's a little bit ropey. All around the edges. Yeah, so yeah, I'll say at least with what you're doing there, it's just being like a little, cleany rag sort of thing. Don't really matter, does it? Just get another one. Usually it's okay, just try too much. Well, it's one of the things that people say, like if you put, what's it, It's not copper, is it? Like if you put like silver, like a silver, something that's silver in there, that sort of stops it. But then you're putting silver stuff into, you know, you could be wearing that silver earring. Booba shaker. That's weird. I had a little candle. And it's dead. Oh! Wow, I just got electric shock from a lighter and a tea light. How the fuck did I manage that? There was definite joltage there. Well, that's shit as well. Okay. I picked up pink jasmine and amber scented tea lights, and I'll be honest with you, I don't scent them. I can smell them a little bit like now. This is all your fault, Crystal, as well, because like that little candle that you gave us for Christmas, like a couple of years ago, which I only sort of used like a couple of months ago. I really love the smell of it, and I don't know what smell it was. I was in Sainsbury's the other week, and I'm like, I really fancy some like little candles that I have on, just a nice aroma. But yeah, it's like it's not very aromatic. Admittedly, they were actually about only a couple of quid for 10. But obviously clearance. Habitat, pink jasmine and amber, 12 scented tea lights. Oh, that was a Yankee. No wonder. It was like a little that's whatever smell it was. It was. I remember it was like purple in colour. But yeah, it was like my favourite smell. Hi, welcome to Talking Candles with your host Lee, special guest Crystal. That was pretty baby. Yeah. Yeah, because it had the little stone in it as well, and I had that stone in my wallet for, well, up until recently. Somehow I broke the stone. Obviously, being in my wallet with a lot of smash, it probably didn't help when you're sort of like, moving around and stuff. But yeah, that's like my little keepsake of Boss. Let's get these little beckers done, because I've got that. Yes. So this is Mephiston Red Air that I'm plonking onto this guy. I went down to, well, so the kids are off this week. I took Thomas down to Camden because I wanted to go down there because they've got a Bandai Namco store down there, and I thought, I'll go down there. And it's a train ride, so Thomas is happy to go on a train anywhere really. So I took him down there, and I realised as I'm come out of Camden station that I hadn't actually been to Camden since I was 19. That was the last time I actually went to Camden. and I went there to go to the market, and I bought myself some German paratroop boots, because obviously everyone was wearing them and M65 Vietnam surplus combat trousers, but I had the all new black and white urban camo combat trousers, and I needed the boots to go with, so I went and got them. Cost me 20 quid. Had them for a few years, and I think I just lost them during a house move or something. I don't remember what happened to them, so I must have just basically misplaced them when moving. But yeah, 20 odd years, 30 odd years. Crazy. Went past the electric ballroom. So I can't really say like, oh, the memories and all that, because I only went there once. I do. One thing I do remember about going down there was Prince had a shop down there back when he was Symbol, and I remember seeing that on the off the high road, because it was like pink and it had Symbol on it. Yeah. Oh, how the time flies. It's kind of funny as well, because when I met um, Shazad Latif, who played Vok or Ash Tyler in Discovery, um, and I realised I was speaking to him at it was a London movie and comic con sort of thing. So it's where you go get all the autographs. So I saw him. There weren't a big queue. Went queued up because there was only literally one person in front of us, and I went to see him because a friend of mine, she used to say that, oh, every time she was watching Discovery, that whenever Ash came on screen, because he had a beard, it reminded her of me. So I took that as a compliment, because he's a handsome man. um, and I saw him there. I went, queued up, went up to him, and said, "Oh, hi, how are you?" I said, "Oh, mate," and I thought, "Hold on a sec, you're English." And then, literally, my entire time with him, we were talking about, because I asked him like, "Where are you from?" He said, "Oh, from like Camden way," and we started talking about places in Camden, like the Camden Market, the TV studios that used to be down there, and the Electric Ballroom, and all that sort of stuff. Um, and yeah, had a really nice chat. Did not talk one thing about Star Trek, and he signed the picture to Lee. Lots of love, Shazad. I went, hey! Made my day. Such a really, really nice guy as well. You know, like one of those people you can just talk to, like, and obviously I did. The only reason we stopped talking was because he said, because by then a bit of a queue had formed, and the people were saying like, "Oh, he's got to move him on, got to move him on." So, but yeah, if you ever get him, so he's also known as Clem Fandango. So if you've seen those little reels with Matt Berry, I think it was Toast of London, I think the show was, and he was like an audio recording dude that always said, "Hi Stephen, can you hear me? Clem Fandango, can you hear me? And then he'd deliberately not do the talk button. It was hilarious. I loved it. But yes, Fandabidozi. Itchy nose. Let's just say, like, you know, like, if you say, like, oh, itchy nose or something like that, and someone will go, oh, that means that you're gonna find money or something like that sort of thing. I just wonder, how the fuck did they figure them out? It's one of those things. Oh, it's puzzling. Got shaky hands. Oh no! Are you doing like fine detail or something, or is it just you've got a bit of a tremor? So normally, like when I'm doing my paint, like I can have like you know, a bit of a twitchy hand from time to time, but I all regulate it with my breathing, so that's why sometimes I'm not breathing at all because I'm holding my breath so much, and I don't even realise I kind of do it, you know, which is worrisome. It's when you realise, hey, I haven't not really fine, too shaky. Oh, well that sucks. You think like you probably aggravating it through work or something, or because you've had this for a little while now, haven't you? I need to give you a good going over with some medical people. Don't like it. I want you to be all worky. Not all worky, but yeah, all functioning. Just shaking. Do you know? Because that's one thing I noticed when at our favourite our favourite little hobby con, GriffCon, um, the other year. I think it's the one that you didn't. Oh, was you there? It was the second one. Um, so I think that's probably when you was giving birth. um, but Louise and Peachy was there, and they was doing this painting thing, and I noticed that Louise has got quite a shake when she's painting. So whether or not that's because being in a room with people watching them speed paint, but I definitely noticed there was definitely a bit of a, you know, a twitch. Not a twitch, but you know, like, you know, not, because you always think that these like community painters and, like, you know, awesome painters, because let's be fair, she is pretty good with the brush. Um, as I said, I just like, you always think that like they've got perfect brush control, but obviously we just evolve and brush and paint how we brush and paint. Whether or not we've got a bit of a shake or not. You sort of compensate, don't you? It's only when it hurts that you can't really push it good. Mm, getting rid of bloody notifications. So yeah, it's yummy. Getting all the paint. You got what is it? That the thingies next week. Not this weekend, weekend after. The old birthday, store birthday thing. I only realised that this morning. Keep on forgetting that that February is not a particularly long month, especially after enduring January for several years. This it sneaks up on us. It's, hey, Marius. Good evening. Haven't managed to catch a stream in for a while. That's alright. Generally here, we accept everyone here, even you. How's things? What have you been up to recently? Any Titans? I asked that all viewers in the hope that there are Titans. Yeah, this was because of the internet problems I'm having at home again, and having to deal with an hour-long conversation with Sky when you're saying it's not working, the TV is not working, this new box isn't working because you need internet connection. We haven't got internet connection, and they're not being able to do anything. And said, "We've kind of told you that." But hopefully one day it'll get fixed. Life's been kicking my butt, but yes, taking a break and travelling to Warhammer World next weekend to pick up my first Titan. So this weekend coming, or the weekend after? So the 1st of March. Is that the weekend you're going up there? I simply ask because it's next weekend, so not this weekend, but the weekend after. Oh, you're up there then? Oh, well, I'll be up there. So obviously, I think I'm quite easily recognisable. So I'll be up there. So if you see me, come and say hello. You should see me. I'll be fucking. I'm up there, and I'm wandering around like a lost sheep. Um, no, there's a few other people there, and what a great day to be up there for the store anniversary and buying a Titan. Obviously, I'll bless the Titan for you. Maybe it'll give you good luck. But there'll be lots. I know there'll be lots of awesome people up there that weekend. So I'll have to say hi if I see you. Yes, very excited. I try to go once a year on the anniversary. Been going for 3 years. I was there last year as well. So that's why I'm going again. I got lots of my IRL friends down that way. Presagius, of course. If you, Marius Gage would have Presagius. Uh, bringing the Titan's Fury to the Ultramarines in support. Are you entering anything into the Legends of Paint event? A new Warlord. I'm sure they'll have a Warlord in stock. That's the thing with the shop. They do tend to have stuff that might not be showing online. So you've got more chance than not, seeing as you're getting it from the source. Maybe I do have a Dante model I'm rather proud of. Well, I say it's not like a competition. It's basically they judge them, and you know, if we're lucky enough, we might get a bronze, a silver, or you know, or a gold. I haven't got a gold yet. I would like a gold, but I'm happy to get anything. just, I just want recognition. They've also got like quite a few like, activity stuff, like activity things going on there as well. Although you might have to book up for certain ones. I know like the scrap heap challenge type things you have to pre-book anyway. So, but they're like that's the one where you go off into the like the cafeteria now that's sectioned off for doing these little, like, give you a load of sprues, get on with building stuff. Do you have to be there all day if you put something in? I think they judging or entrance to the competition, you've got to be in by 1, and then I think it's up to like 3. Last year they done it in 2 sections because last year they did it where there was a morning session and then there was an afternoon session. I got tickets to both, so I was there all day. But yeah, it only takes like literally a couple of hours. So if you're entering stuff in, actually, I'll just have a look. Where's event? Check my tickets. Event details. Right, so yeah, so registration for the Legends of Paint is between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. on both Saturday and the Sunday, and the awards and models will be available to pick up from 3:30 p.m. So it's not the whole day, but it's the day. For yeah, so as long as you're there before 1, plonk your things in, do some stuff, and then after 3:30 you can collect them again. There's other things that have got going on. Yeah, because are you giving your BB to your mum, aren't you? Contest of Warlords. Witness the Warhammer TV team battle monster versus monster to determine the greatest champion in the mortal realm. Boarding action challenge. Test your skills in an all-new boarding action scenario against our crack team of experts. Virus Bomb. Experience the first mission from Space Marine 2. Operations missions pack for Kill Team. An intense tactical challenge. Space Marine Chapter Challenge. Help us paint as many Space Marine chapters as possible in just one weekend. Wrath and Glory Live. Step into a thrilling Warhammer 40k RPG adventure with our guest Dungeon Masters. Ooh. Soulbound Live. Take part in a terrifying Age of Sigmar RPG session led by the experts at Cubicle 7. Explore the Cursed City. Join a band of desperate heroes on a quest for fame, treasure, and glory in the haunted streets of Ulthuan. Dungeon diving display. Get a rare look in the classic dungeon crawling products from Warhammer Games Workshop's history. Paint and take Undead. Try your hand at painting one of Nagash's sinister minions, perfect for beginners and veterans alike. Discover Spearhead. Dive into Spearhead, a fast tactical Warhammer Age of Sigmar mode, designed for quick battles with endless replayability. Full Tilt, full on. We've taken the classic Knightly Jousting game and added a grand melee. Try out both the mounted and on foot versions. old world demo games. Never played Warhammer, the old world. Now's your chance to learn the fundamentals of the classic rank and flank warfare and the Legends of Paint. So that's the stuff that's going on, and obviously the other things with the that you can pay for, like Paint the Fire Dragon, and some other bits and pieces and stuff. Scrap Mountain, that was what the thing you'll buy a ticket for. Sorry, yes. Where was I? I was slightly disappointed there was no tables to book for gaming. Is that usual? Can't remember how old it. Well, last year they had. I remember they had the painting tables, and they had some sort of like demo gaming tables around the place. So I'm just trying to. It's a bit fuzzy because I spent most of my time at the little painting table things where you was offered. It was either a Space Marine or ouch, painting a Sigma Marine. Oh, dude, if you're going to focus, you're not going to focus, are you? You are being a dick again. If only the camera would frickin' work. No, it's not having it. No, well, it's purple. So there's a purple Sigma because I was like, just going, oh, I'm going to do like an Emperor's Children. So yeah, I done a piss poor attempt at an Emperor's Children. They didn't have the paints, which is weird since Games Workshop. Because I had that when I went to the Horus Heresy Open Day in 2022, and they had the first Mark 6 that you could like grab one, paint it, take home sort of thing. I know several people that got quite a few of those Marines, but I wanted to be the only person to walk out of Warhammer World with a fully painted, based Mark 6 Marine, which I achieved. I went so deep that I actually bought myself a Emperor's Children Emperor's Children decal sheet. Not as if I weren't going to use it. And I had to buy myself some brushes and texture paint as well. Because I was doing the basis. I even and strangely, they only had like certain paints out. They had like a large selection of paints, but they were like really average, basic sort of things. So there was no Agrax. Couldn't find any Agrax anywhere. So I got one of the staffers to help us make our own Agrax, mixing like a cocktail to Agrax. But yeah, so I had a painted and based and decaled model by the time I left. And I say it wasn't long because I weren't hanging around on that table for ages. And Evening Gizmo. How are you, buddy? I was saying earlier on, I went down to the Bandai store Tuesday. Oh, it was yesterday. Fuck me. And the Bandai Namco store in Camden doesn't have a lot in the way of like Gundam in there, like at all. They have the I can never remember the bloody names of them. The Capachon, the little vending machine things. So I did one of them because I found they had some Gundam themed ones, and so I bought some because you had to buy tokens. So spent a tenner, got 5 tokens. 3 of those tokens went onto my Gundam caption thing, and I got that'll do. Because they have like a little series of like waiting sort of things. So you have like the Zaku, you have Gundam, you have the Crab, and I think it's Strike Freedom, um, in a sitting pose. So yeah, gotcha. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I can never pronounce the bloody thing. Whatever it is, I've Gachopon, Gapachon. I think Gizmo will probably know what I'm fucking ragging on about. He seems to know quite a lot about that sort of stuff. Digging a hole for you. Yeah, I would say it's a cute little. Because when I went down to Comic Con, was it October, and I was doing the Gundam thing there, and I met up with Orky, Keris, and she was talking about there was this like a stall nearby which had all those gacha, capashon, whatever they are, things, and even Peachy got one. He got the Zaku one, which is the green Zaku. Because when he was putting out his stuff, and he was like, "So, oh, this is some of the stuff that I picked up at Comic Con," and he had the little green Zaku version of that. And I went, "Dude, how did you get one of them?" And he said, "Oh, I got them out one of the little ball things." So I went and got one, and I got the little crab. It's cute. I've decided that the Universal Century timeline is the timeline for me. I was talking to my friend Matt earlier on because he was asking Jade about, because he's getting into Seed, Gundam Seed, because there's a Gundam in that he rather likes, and he was asking Jade about where would be best to see episodes or cartoons with that particular red frame he likes. I remember he mentioned red frame, and she literally just sent him over a picture of a sort of like timeline things. It's like, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do. This is all confusing. And I was looking through it and I thought, well, because I like Unicorn and the Kshatriya, it is really like Gundam Unicorn is my first Gundam cartoon that I watched, but it's also admittedly, yeah, I haven't watched a few. I've watched like the Bloody Handed Orphans and the Witch of Mercury, which are both really good series, but I still love my Unicorn and the Kshatriya. I started watching the original one, but isn't there like a modern version of the original, or am I just dreaming it? Because that's the thing that's sort of holding me back a little bit, because I'm confused about where to go, what to do. Because like, if I'm going to watch the original one, which obviously that came out when I was 4 years old. But if they just repeat it later, I'd rather just watch the modernized version. And nothing against everyone who starred in the original ones, but I don't know. I just prefer that, especially if like the other ones are more in that vein. And you are, you know, one of those other knowledgeable type persons if the Gundam. I know. With the Gundams, I did. I had to stay over the kids for a couple of days while mum went away, um, and I thought, well, they normally get to a point where they'll just go into their rooms and go on their computers and stuff. And so I thought, well, I could do some hobby. I'm not going to do painting around there. So I did take this around there. However, I opened it up and just remembered just how many sprues there were in there, and I thought, I don't think I can actually cope with this. Not when I'm not at home. I've seen a lot of creators talking about Gundams, but it's not for me. I like my mech slow and lumbering. Models do look awesome. That's the thing. It's all about the awesomeness for me. You know, everybody knows I love my Titans. You know, there's Titans there. There's a couple of Titans over there. You know, I've got Titans here, and obviously in the storage facilities that are scattered around various strategic points of the UK. Um, but I'm a fan of mecha as a whole. So like Gundam appeals to me, Robotech, um, anything with like hard suits, you know, Tau. I like Tau. That's what brought me back into the hobby back in 2001. Was the emergence of Tau, and you know, if it wasn't for Tau, you wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to a long-haired, hippie-looking dude about mechas and Titans. So they've got a lot to answer for. But yeah, I like that stuff. Is my jam. I can appreciate all mecha in all its forms, Omnissiah or human. Hard suits, knights, Battletech. Obviously, I do like a bit of Battletech. Hence why I went and done the Kickstarters on Mercenaries to get more Battletech in my life. I'm assuming you've seen that there's a little reel going around with someone's done a video of like an Imperator walking along and being shot at, and then it turned around and charging up its plasma cannons, Hellstorm cannons or whatever they're called, and just vaporizing stuff. It's pretty cool. For a homemade especially, it is pretty cool. I used to play Mech Warrior a ton. I do love a Timberwolf. Like that. So this is one of the reasons why I done the pledge level that I did, because you get a 4-inch tall Timberwolf. I always remember seeing when they came out, when the Omnimex first came out, I saw the box for them in the Virgin Megastore in London, and it's that old thing where you're looking at that cockpit and it just reminds you of like a B-29 Stratofortress or Flying Fortress or whatever it was. No, it was Flying Fortress, wasn't it? B-29, I think. But yeah, you know, the Mad Cat is to BattleTech what the Warlord Titan is to Warhammer. It is iconic, to say the least. A visual beauty. But yeah, and also done up as Ghost Bears, because Ghost Bears Legacy was my jam. Loved when that came out, and that's the video at the start of it. And I watch it semi-regularly because I just love watching that whole setup with the Smoke Jaguar Mad Dog running across the ice on his little patrol and then suddenly getting ambushed by Kojak. Loved that. And that's what that sort of helped solidify my interest in BattleTech. But what also helped was the when you hear the sort of the thing about when the Ghost Bears enter a star system with their jump ships, and they do like a broad channel announcement of their arrival, and they basically go, "We are the Ghost Bears. Let all those that stand against us tell us thy names, so that you can be remembered." It's like actually cold-blooded bullshit. Some cold-blooded shit right there, man. So it's coming in there. Says, "Yeah, tell us who you are, so we can remember who you were, because we're gonna kill you." But yeah, there was pretty awesome. I like the scheme as well. So, as you notice with that, it's basically a lot of stippling. So, pretty basic greys, dry brushing, and stippling with Fenris blue, stippled with a lighter grey as well, and some like chipping done. Freehand on the insignia, which yeah, it's not the greatest, but from there it looks perfect. And there's some missiles and stuff. So it was painted to try and match this little counterpart. Not that I did the freehand on that. There's no way that I would be able to do the freehand on that one. It's just too small. But yeah, it's just it was worth it just for that, to be fair. There's something incredibly iconic about BattleTech dropships, like 40k coffin ships, but they don't have that same gravitas. Well, to be fair, we haven't really, like, you know, coffin ships are literally just a slab that just drops down from orbit, and you know, the ones that really sort of caught my imagination are the ones that are mentioned in Titan Death. The Legio Solaria have their two Titan conveyors, and the Titan conveyors, if you looked at them from above, they're like a simple, they're like a H, basically, and the bridge section in the centre that sticks out from the crossbar of the H. but at each end and in the middle are like like BattleTech drop pods. So the drop ships that they have in BattleTech, which are the big domey things, that's what they kind of have on these Titan conveyors. So one of them will deliver several Titans, unlike the coffin ships, which would traditionally just like one Titan, sort of thing. That's what they used to be. They've sort of evolved a bit in other books. Like there's one, I'm trying to think. There's 3 books that I know of, so that have coffin ships visually represented. Honor the Dead, because one crashes, and they're trying to get the doors open. The Laurel of Defiance, which is a short story, which includes a certain Lucretius Corvo of the 90th Company 9th Chapter Ultramarines, who goes on to become the chapter master of the Nova Marines. And he's on, I think it's the world is Astragar, and it's a traitor Titan lander or coffin ship. They call it, I think they call it a coffin ship. It's a long while since I read it, but it had a few Titans inside that one, but they're all feral because they're all like corrupted. So they weren't. I don't think they might have been possessed. I'm assuming they must have been possessed Titan. So it was like the first time that a possessed Titan was seen, or corrupted, whatever you want to call it, because it was more like an animal, and that's how they sort of helped them to sort of take it out. Hey, Francois, greetings to you, my friend, and how have you been? What are you up to tonight? And the last one was Betrayer, where one rather large coffin ship comes down that's carrying a Legio Oberon Imperator Titan, the same one which gets nabbed by Legio Audax, because all the warhounds seem to go, oh, there's prey coming, and they all run off and harpoon the crap out of it and pull it down. So, yes, that's the only 3 mentions of Titan landers that I know of. They might have a very brief description. They don't really go into detail. Like I said, the ones in Titan Death, they do go into Titan. They do sort of describe them a little bit. But the things in Titan Death that I really liked were what the Knights came down in, which were called drop keeps. So basically, it was a fortified drop pod that once it lands, it's got like defensive crenellations and stuff. So you know, like the 40k Bastion. Imagine one of them, and that's what it's coming down. It's like one of them. It drops down, and the Knights can come out and go back in if they want to. Is the large scale what people are playing with these days? The only games I've played recently have been mostly dystopian wars. So that's again small scale. I did one Titan Walk last year, which was at Salute. I did go to Beachhead, but I wasn't involved in the Titan Walk there. And when the main Titan Walk occurred, I couldn't attend to it because it was on. Each year I have a set weekend where I have set weekends that I have off for friends' birthdays, and it happened to fall on my friend's birthday, so I couldn't go to it. So that was a bit of a shit. or she'd tell a lie. It wasn't on my friend's birthday this year, last year's one, but I was going to the same friend because he was hosting a barbecue. Now, yeah, Titans in it, but he specifically asked me a couple of months earlier, I'm going to do this at this time because he was going to propose to his partner, and he wanted me, like close friends and family, well, close friends basically, to be there. So, and he basically told me in no uncertain terms, you got to be there. So I went, okay. So that was on the Saturday. I couldn't get the Sunday off that for that weekend anyway. So if I had gone to the main walk, it would have only been for the Saturday. I did, however, go to the main walk on the way through because I went and stayed at my sister Gail and Simon up in North Nottingham. Stayed up there, and then I drove down on the Saturday morning because it was Simon's birthday, it was his 50th. So went celebrated his 50th, and then I drove down on the Saturday to Northampton from Nottingham to where the Titan Walk was happening. I went in there for about an hour or so, saw everyone, took some photographs, and then I headed to Leamington Spa, to where my friend Brian lives, for the barbecue. So I attended multiple events, drove around for several hours, and kept everyone happy. Sometimes you just have to do those sort of things, don't you? Got a large dance card that day, but you know, it was nice to see the people at Titan Walk, nice to see the people at Brian's, meet new people as well, at Brian and Kat's engagement. Although Kat did have she did admit, she had a sneaking suspicion because it's not one of those things you can really get away with when you're trying to find out her ring size. Not exactly, you know, so you can get away with. Got an extra black French press coffee and some hobby pals on the tube. Other than the snow, all is well here. Well, that's good to hear, Francois. I'm glad that you are safe and sound, warm, and you know, all happy and dandy. You are honestly one of the kindest. Oh, shut up! No, I'm stinky. Love you. Oh, I feel like I've got tears in my eyes. I have got tears in my eyes. Thank you. That's only very sweet of you to say. I really do love you and appreciate you, Crystal. You're the best. And Robbins, and so is BB. Oh. Ross. Yeah. It's been very cold here as well, Francois. Ross. Well, I've completely lost where I'm going now. Oh, I need another drink. That's what I need. I've run out of drinkage, which is a thing. It's a real thing. It's an emergency. We need more drinkage. You know me, Crystal. I try my best with anything and everything. So, um, I had to defrost. Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's like I know you keep on threatening about oh, it's going to be a cold snap and stuff. And you go out, you go, what the Birkin? Like last night, it was really cold, and it weren't. It's not that the way I described it to Stuart today at work, because he was saying it's cold. It's like if you went into one of those big walk-in freezers. There's no draft. It is just cold. You're walking in and you go, it's a bit cold. It's like that. You know, when you've got like the wind chill, that's one thing. But when it's just the atmosphere is fucking cold, you go, wow, this is some new shit. This is not what we signed up for. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock. Again, I don't know why we're surprised. You know, the way it's been this whole year, it's not been particularly great on the weather side of things. Every year we get snow in March and April, and every year I'm just as surprised. Yeah, I know. We've had, that's the thing. Like we've had more snow in those months in recent years than we've had at Christmas. I think like Christmas 2023, we had like a few days of snow. I remember it in particular because obviously at work I was using the old snow shovel to get the thing out because it was like clearing the deck so we can actually get and do stuff and move around. Bunging out loads of sand and stuff, and then like scraping up, making huge hills of snow, and the odd snowman just randomly placed in places because we're kids. It was like, oh wow, and like at work we have this, like we don't have heating on in our warehouse. We've got a big like massive like gas heater that's up on the ceiling, and it only used to come on at a certain temperature, so whenever it came on we knew it was cold. But that week it was on pretty constantly throughout the work day for that week. We get monthly gas bills sort of thing. The gas bill for December, now bear in mind that the heater was only on, it's the only gas thing we have there really of any consequence. Well, maybe a boiler for the taps, but that's nothing. But the gas bill after any sort of discounts that we got, business deal with discounts we got, was £900 for 1 week. So it's like, my boss told me that, and I went, "You what?" I said, "Look, we don't benefit from it. Yes, it's cold. It only blows hot air down one part of this large unit that we've got. There's no point having it on because as soon as you walk out of that, you're cold again." So yeah, we haven't. We've just literally just turned it off. There's no point having it on. I mean, large Mad Cat, I have 40k Titans, but I haven't had any interest in small scale Battletech. That large Mad Cat, though, looks like it might be fun to paint. It was fun to paint, and I really enjoyed it. And as I said, it's one of the reasons why I committed to the Kickstarter, because it was like one of the little add-ons that you got when you go to certain levels. You got like, you get this, that, the other, to get some dice and freebies and all that sort of stuff. But I just wanted that 4-inch Magcat. Now, and I've said this before, I think they would have done, well, they could have done better if they'd done that scale, like, or something in between the, something between the scales as a model, like they did with AT, where you've gone 8mm, and the Titans are much bigger and more awesome looking. That's what sold that game. If BattleTech did something similar with the models, yeah. But the problem with BattleTech is they have so many different bloody mechs, and financially, you can't see them making them all unless they got into 3D printing. You know, if they actually got all the designs designed up on CAD and then print to order, you know, that makes sense. You put them in a like default box, you know, BattleTech, wow, you order it, bonk, post. Normally here it's an inch or less of snow, and it's gone by noon the next day. Got 6 inches yesterday, no sign of it going anywhere. Oh, bloody hell. Whereabouts are you? I'm assuming, you know, being, you know, France. I could be completely wrong. I can't remember. It's been a while since I spoke to you last. I'll be honest with you. Um, we've had a trickle of snow on occasions, but where I am, like it's hard to get snow on coastal areas because of the salt air. It doesn't, you know, snow doesn't stay around. 9F was the high here yesterday. Sold my mountain cabin and moved to the American South to get away from the snow. And it snowed in the house. Oh, yeah. It's crazy. I know, like in previous years when like the snow's up in like towards sort of like Michigan and Illinois sort of thing. You know, the killer snows, and obviously when you go up to um, more towards the border as well, you get quite a lot of heavy snowfalls and all that. But it just say like you move to the south and now there's snow following you. I think it's you. It's chasing you. Do you get like a feeling that you want to build a snowman? Well, yeah, that's right. I'm painting through the legs. I've what have I been doing? Um, I was before the TV went down. I was watching Love Is Blind new series. I love that. That is such, you know. I just love watching those sort of shows. They just it makes me feel nice. You know, I just love, you know, I love that sort of stuff. It's really weird. I love my hardcore sci-fi, action, adventure, spy, and You know, like sickly, like, oh yeah, these people are trying to meet for the first time and see if love is truly blind. It's the reason why I watch things like Towie and Geordie Shore, because it makes me feel better that I'm not those people. I saw Rob mentioned a trailer for Paradise. Um, I saw that and I thought, oh, that does look rather good. But I also got distracted by Thousand Year Blood War, which is the uh, Bleach anime latest offering. So I've been watching the latest season of that. Yeah, it's been a while since YouTube has told me that you were on. Wow. I say I snuck on today. I've always tried to maintain the usual sort of Wednesday, Saturday um, thing. Like last Saturday, I wasn't on last. I can't remember why I wasn't on. Yeah, I think I weren't on um, because I was going to be away for a couple of days because I was having to stay around my kids, keep them out of trouble. Um, so I just have some time. There was something else. Why I didn't? Yeah, I was getting on. I don't know. But yeah, so that happened. But I'll be honest, I'll say like there has been like a few times when I've come on and as I say if nobody turns up, then I do tend to sort of like go, oh well, okay. If but I know I'm not having to go anywhere. By the way, just saying that. But like we're all busy individuals at the best of times. But generally, there's someone pops in or whatever. Um, but unless people like chat like you have today, um, there's not a lot for me to go on. I'm a reactive type person, so questions I'm happy to answer. Conversations about stuff, hobby or whatever, TV, movies, all that sort of thing. I'm very talkative, as you know. Obviously, 6 inches of snow isn't enough to block the front door, but snow is rare here, which makes the roads incredibly dangerous, effectively trapping you. Well, that's the thing. It's like everyone over here, as soon as there's like a decent snowfall, you know, the amount of times that our local councils don't heed weather warnings and stuff, and they don't go out and grit the roads. And as soon as there's a significant fall, there's not a lot you can do, and it can block off entire areas of the county. You know, I've only managed not to get into work once due to heavy snowfalls. I managed to escape work once as it started to snow heavily one day. Still took me a good couple of hours to get home because you couldn't get out of the town because everyone's trying to get out and then they get blocked and then next minute you are sitting on a roundabout for ages. So that's no good. I find it hard when you stream and it's quiet, go in someone else's stream when you finish and see regulars there that weren't in yours. It's like, what did we do wrong? Yeah, no, I get that. I think like there's been times in the past when, like, even like when you were streaming on Twitch and that, and you do a raid and you turn up and then you see like someone, oh, wait a sec, why are you in here? Like, you know, what have I done? And yeah, you can take it that way, but you know, at the end of the day, you know your regulars, like your true regulars, because they were generally there. There might have been a few like odds and sods and stuff. Um, your buddy who was in when I came round, we was watching Millie, and you was mentioning about a certain someone. I haven't seen them. I have not seen them again. They've disappeared. Well, the now the thing is, like with yeah, he is, and as you say, like I was, because when you mentioned about him, I've been like looking out again because it's just really weird his that behaviour he has. Um, but yeah, like he's not been there. But as I said to you, like it's through like working on your streams and just seeing, as you say, you you do something, you get that little crowd, and then when you see them elsewhere, you think like, well, you do feel that little bit of like, I thought we were buddies, and I honestly I felt that way as well at times, like from like previously, like where there were like my Titan crew peeps that would be in chat and all that sort of stuff, and they've all drifted into the wind. You saw as soon as I commented on Studio Stream, yeah. I can't turn my volume above 100, but I turn it down if the broadcast is too loud. Yeah, no, say like it's really weird, like viewer retention. Um, it's I don't get it. Like like especially like when you've had those like little gangs. Like I get it might not be a me problem. It just makes you feel that way. Yeah, I know, but you should never feel that way. People drift in and out of life, unfortunately. But luckily, you do find the odd, um, you know, nugget that's worth having around. You know, um, but I totally get where you're coming from because, as I said, like I know from being one of your mods and seeing like people that were regulars in other streams, you do feel that little bit like, but we don't know what because we don't hang out on those streams, So they might have that super special relationship with that person. I don't know, but yeah, the only thing you can do is just do it for you. Don't do it for other people. It's you got to do something. If you're happy doing it, just do it. If people come and go, but the ones worth knowing are the ones that stay around wherever you are. So, oh bloody hell! Bloody notifications coming in, they're scaring me like that. Who do you think you are? But yeah, I wouldn't. You're an awesome human being. And you're always fun. And I say like you and Rob, You know, having a domestic on screen is always a laugh. Unleashing the thirsty boy. Um, but yeah, as I say, I think I don't know. It's a hard one when you get those sort of situations rise. And I know it's similar that you put that time into things and you make friends, but then friends seem to disappear. It's a sad state of affairs. I don't think he'll be back to stream with me. Well, there's a win then. I'm trying to think of the other day, the guy. I can't remember the guy we all sort of like cracked down on. It was in the Discord, and yeah, it was just like you just have. I remember that time that happened. And no, I think it was no, was it? No, Rob came in and kicked him. That was it. That dude. That wasn't him, was it? That was someone else, or was it him? Because you know what I'm like with people and like different tags. That's why I always have the same tag anyway. You know exactly who you're getting. Oh, it's that Forge of Mars dude. Just coming around here talking about Titans again, no doubt. Keep the rabbit offender. Yeah, because I thought I was actually like telling him what's what, and just like call your jets and all that, and then Rob just came in and went, "Bye." Another pro tip: never criticise your viewers. You may be surprised how much audience sides with them, or will leave before that happens to them. Never criticise. Well, that's the thing. It's like the only people, like the only time I want to say criticise people is people that who are definitely like not con- conducive to the stream. People that are like either trolling. Um, we've even had one guy, and this is a long time ago because touch wood, we um, haven't had much since then. But there was a guy that came onto one of the streams, and he was deliberately being a, a troll. He was really going out and all that sort of stuff, and like calling everyone nerds, play toys and all that sort of stuff. And he was like one of the people that just wanted attention. And I just ended up literally just, I tried banning him, but then he came back again. So he had multiple accounts with the same name that shows up and the same picture. So it's like he does it deliberately, sort of thing. And so we just ended up just ignoring him. And then he was at one stage he was pleading like, "Please, mate, take attention to me," and all that sort of stuff. And I just said to him, I said, "Look, you can hang around here and do whatever you want, but I'm going to ignore you, and these streams could go on for a few hours. So, all you're doing is adding to my viewership. So, go for it." Um, but yeah, it's Rob was peed, and I showed him the pee, and the guy said, "Well, you know, that's reacting well." I thought. Especially don't call them out by name and never behind their backs if you must voice criticism. No, but that's the thing. It's like, again, like when I was talking with Crystal, it's someone that we both know and we know the history behind that person. So that's why I was not mentioning any names. Um, but she knows who I am talking about. But if I had a criticism of somebody, I would speak that to them. I speak them to the same as I would do here. I'm not one of those type of people that would do that, because at the end of the day, I need to get it off my chest. I will speak to them and address them, because if they don't know that what they've done is affecting people, they'll continue to do it. So, and I'm not doing it in a mean or you know, it's going to be sort of constructive. Like, you know, I think you was a little bit out of order with what you were saying. You know, just be a bit more considerate of other people. You know, because we don't know everybody's backgrounds. You know, we all have a history, and I would never presume, you know, to know what someone's been through. But I wouldn't sort of necessarily, you know, just crack down on somebody unless they've got a lot of history with being a dick, you know. But you do get, especially on, you know, like my friends that are, you know, of lady hobbyists, you know, they get a lot of stuff thrown at them, you know, suggestive and you know messages. I actually banned somebody on a stream the other day. He was Russian. He was talking in Russian. Millie was saying, "I'm sorry, we don't. I don't understand what you're saying. Like we only like we speak obviously English only here, sort of thing. If you can, you know, if you want to interact, you're more than welcome." I took down. Well, I basically screen capped it. I copied and pasted it into a translator and saw what he had actually said, and I banned him straight away, because obviously, if you're speaking in a foreign language, you don't know the language. You can be saying anything, and he was saying very rude, nasty, well, you know, name calling as well. So that's an instant ban. So, you know, but you know, some people, you know, you got to make allowances for, you know, in stream chats as well. Some people speak in a more industrial tone than others. So as long as they're not calling somebody else names, and if they're just saying, "Oh yeah, like, you know, this, that, and the other, whatever," and maybe using swear words, that's one thing. But you know, it is. I treat everybody the same that comes in here, and the same like Crystal does with her streams as well. You know, everyone is welcome, but if you start down that route where you start being antagonistical or trying to disrupt things, then you have to address it. You can ask them, you give them warnings. If they don't, you know, cool their jets, then you've got to deal with it for, you know, for the peace and serenity. I think if I criticise someone, they deserve it because I'm a nice person. If others agree with them, happy for them to leave too. Doesn't matter if you're right or not, other people will see it and not want it to happen to them. You're talking about that. No, that guy had been spoken to by multiple streamers about their behaviour. I have some very biased takes. I cultivated an audience for a dead channel from 40 subs and 0 live viewers to 20 live regular viewers and 550 subs. Talk shit about me, banned me. They are now 5 live viewers with 0 new subs in a month. More people agreed with me, and he thought lost half of his audience. That's your experience, and more the fool for them for that. I call out people who disrespect me though. I won't accept it, nor did my mods. I haven't streamed in months, so. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like everybody has different, experiences. I said we've only ever had here like this one person who really went at it for a time. Like I said, we ended up just ignoring it and just talking about our own things. But you do get, and as I said, like some people which are, you know, just spamming the chat and being distractive. So we don't get many bots. Again, touch wood here, um, coming in and links and stuff like that. But as you say, everyone has a different experience. Obviously, the more popular you get, then you know you're always going to be expanding your borders, and those borders will eventually contain some people that may not get your vibe and may not take too kindly. Like you might say something in jest or something, and they don't take it as it's meant, sort of thing. So you're always going to get that problem wherever you go. It's just one of those things. I'm just throwing out some advice about viewer retention, since that's what the question asked, and the particulars of some specific circumstances I'm unaware of. Yeah, no, as I say, that was it's valuable points that you're putting up there as well. But as I said, this was again for a channel elsewhere, and as I say, it's very strange behaviour, this one person. So it's like if you don't mention these sort of behaviours where you get these people coming in and acting strange, then they could be doing it to somebody who doesn't know how to handle it, and you don't want that sort of thing. But as I said, no names have been mentioned, because it's obviously what we were discussing from something from the other week, when we noticed this person had reappeared. It's like when you get sometimes others, the more notable sort of people on social media platforms that are a bit antagonistical, sort of thing. And as soon as they sort of re-emerge from where they've been hiding, or keeping low profile, it soon gets around that, oh yeah, that person's back again, sort of thing. There was it James the Lamenter was one of them. He was the one who was sending really horrible and aggressive messages to a lot of women within the hobby, and just like being really misogynistic and vile in some cases, which obviously a lot of people came forward saying this person's doing this, and lots of people that I know were affected by the things that he was throwing at them, sort of thing, because it was really hurtful, and especially if you're having any sort of emotional sort of trauma and anxiety, having somebody coming in short DMs even, and just endless messages coming through, just really hammering at you, sort of thing. Obviously, eventually, they blocked them, but then this person's going around like posting things about them on other things. Oh, right. But that's the world, unfortunately, especially with the internet the way it is. People just don't have that sort of nice, respectful behaviours to some people, because they think, well, you don't know who I am, and so and just be rubbish. Yeah. arse. But yeah, it's I'll say like with this channel here, this is purely just hanging out, painting vibe, talking about whatever in the world. And it's like we've had like 20-minute discussion about all this. But you know, it's I've neither here or there really. This is just to hang out and paint stuff. And it's last bits here. That's so eyes focus. I don't think all this vodka and jade is conducive. It's made me smile. that's the main thing. So this is the warmest I've been today as well. So that's always good. Oh, that's the thing. I wear multiple layers when I'm in work because after 21 years of working there, you kind of learn how to deal with things. But I tell you what, sometimes it just sneaks up on you and kicks you in the arse. Get this groin done. Got some little hip sections to get. I've really got to sort out this bloody camera. I don't know why. It's not a cheap camera. That's the annoying thing. Just wondering if I actually swap like the face cam, because that not blurry. Maybe switching them around and see how they work. So I'll probably experiment with that between now and the next stream. Because I had the settings open the other week and I was looking through them. I was adjusting the settings, taking off the autofocus, and it got to a point where I zoomed in a little bit and you could actually see everything in the detail. But I don't know if I have to reset it every time, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. want to be mucking about with it all the time. Little grimy bit there. And a little grimy bit there. We don't have to agree on conclusions, but I'd like to ask some questions and some qualifying statements. Yeah, go for it. Obviously not American based in your accent, but you are familiar with the organisation called the Boy Scouts of America. Well, we have Boy Scouts over here, but they are normally, well, say Boy Scouts. You have the Scouts, and then you have Cubs, which are like younger kids. I know of Eagle Scouts and stuff because I used to work in a scout camp when I was younger, and there was some American scouts. Guy called David. I will not give his full name, but he came from Tennessee. But he, I don't know if this is any other sort of kind of organisation, or if this actually is a Boy Scouts. So I've heard the term, but I don't know if it's what I think it is, or what I would assume it was. Although I could just Google it, it'd be easier. Yeah, so the Boy Scouts, yeah. Hello. Hello, Les. How are you? What are you up to? Causing trouble, no doubt. You... Lovely to see you. Funny enough, you just missed Crystal was on there a little while ago. There's also Girl Scouts in America, but girls are allowed to join the Boy Scouts. Warhammer community has always been 99.9999% men and boys. Do men and boys deserve their own space? Um, well, they can have their own sort of like club space. So yeah, well, that's the thing. I know like over here there are all girls schools and like sixth forms, and I know of one because my daughter went through an all girls school, but in the sixth form they did allow for boys to attend that same school, even though they had their own school next door, and if there was courses there that the girls wanted to participate in, they could go and join that sort of thing. Um, in a hobby space, a hobby is a hobby. Anybody can do a hobby, so it's not really, you know, exclusive sort of things. Like if you want to have your own hobby like group, then you can have that as all boy, all girl, or intermixed or whatever. There's nothing to stop you either way. Um, but you know, as I say, like in regards to like you know everything else, you know, it's a hobby. It's like I know people that do like painting, golf, both male and females, you know, or things that may be conceived as traditionally female, like cooking, baking, you know, gardening, stuff like that. It's the same thing. Hobby is hobby. So to me, it doesn't matter either way. And if you want to have your own space, you can have your own space. You know, you don't have to be inclusive. But you know, I just find it's more interesting being inclusive because you meet new people of all walks of life. You know, like one of my things is I was talking to a friend's the other day. It's like since I accidentally posted a lot of my hobby models onto Facebook, because I had a Facebook page for my hobby, and I had my Facebook, and I thought I was posting up a load of hobby photographs to my page, but not my profile. But I accidentally posted them to my profile, and I was confused when I was getting likes and stuff from like people I went to school with, like because at school nobody knew, like maybe like one or two people knew that I was into Warhammer, um, but I posted these pictures up, and there was like girls from school liking them, and I'm like, what the hell? Why? How are you seeing my page? And then I realised, I went, oh my god, I posted it to my profile, and yet I was actually um, quite humbled by the reaction. You know, especially like you've seen like these people, like, and some of the people like on from my old school, you know, some of them on there because I was just like, you know, a run of the mill type person at my school, but there was like some people there, like again, notably some of the, you know, higher echelon, because you have those like that hierarchy in school. So like the popular kids, and there was a couple of popular girls on there, and they've liked my models. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You know, but it turns out that these girls liked Star Wars. They liked, you know, things that I liked as a kid. And if I'd known that then, I probably would have talked to them a lot more. You know, you can't help what you like at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, it's sorry, I'm just catching up. Just hanging around. Sorry, the chat is popping in here. What have I missed? Um, yeah, we were talking about something earlier on about like I'll be honest, I've lost it now. Is it fair to criticise female content creators grifting Warhammer simp shekels? Well, or they use their own fan stream. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know, if they've got an OnlyFans, they've got an OnlyFans. So fucking what? You know, at the end of the day, life is hard enough as it is. And if they want to do OnlyFans, that's their choice. They can do OnlyFans. I could do OnlyFans if I wanted to. You know? It doesn't matter. Life is hard enough as it is, as I said. You know, if they're doing that, then yeah, there might be some people that are pushing things out and like going, like, you know, do this, do that, and sort of thing. It's not always simping. The amount of times I've also seen guys like going on, oh, they're getting stuff sent out, or people that are like Warhammer community where they get sent out review stuff, and people criticising them because they've been sent free stuff where they think I'm more deserving. They have no control of that. If someone decides to say, oh, we want to send you this, could you paint it for us and all that? If that offered to you, would you take it? I would. You know, but I'm not going to criticise somebody who does get sent stuff. You know, at the end of the day, you know, female content creators, you know, they do some awesome work. They put a lot of time and effort into it. You know, I put fuck all effort into what I do. I wish I was a little bit better than that, but I'm not. I know my limitations. I am the budget level of hobby content creators, sort of thing. You know, I'm purely here to paint stuff, hang out with people, chat with people, you know, from all over the place. And there's no, you know, doesn't matter what background you're from. You know, we're all hobbyists at the end of the day. But, you know, yes, there are probably female content creators out there that get a lot more attention because men are like that. We like women, or obviously some like men, some like all sorts. Again, doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I wouldn't worry about it. At the end of the day, they're doing their own thing, you do your own thing, I do my own thing. So there's one less thing to get worried about, stressed out about, or angry about. Whatever person A is doing or person B is doing, it doesn't matter. You know, we're all doing something in order to enjoy our hobby, express ourselves. Yeah, we might get some free stuff out of it because that's capitalism. You know, I've had people messaging me on Instagram saying, would you like to try, you know, this, you know, and I think, well, no, not really. You know, yeah, I might get some free bits and pieces, but that's not what I do. You know, if a male, and I've seen, like, you know, obviously guy content creators are sort of pushing things like the Patreons and stuff like that. I don't do that. So, you know, I just do this for hobby shenanigans and chats and stuff like that. Again, if somebody does something, you know, if they have got Axe Daddy. Sorry, thank you. I don't know if you hate women. I didn't assume that you hated women. You was asking a question, and I was just basically responding it to how I feel about the situation. So I'm catching up with the chat now. So I've been playing Warhammer 37 years. I've seen huge changes in the community in the last 10 years. Yes, there's been a lot of changes in the last 10 years or so. With no women being interested in our little toy soldiers for decades, and tens of millions of videos of women asking where are all the good men at, and you believe the interest is genuine. Like, I used to participate in sort of like doing tournaments. I've known of female hobbyists in the hobby for at least sort of 20 to 25 years. So since the dawn of the new millennium, sort of thing. And I've been in this hobby since 85, 86, sort of thing. So like almost 40 years that I've been doing this stuff. like yourself, there was like, yeah, it has changed. Like modeling has changed. More people are interested in doing nerdy things. So humanity evolves and other people get involved and stuff like that. So I don't have any preconceptions about what people coming in here asking questions. I'm going to answer the questions if I can, you know. And you've asked a legitimate question there, which I probably rambled on for a little while. But you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me if somebody, as you're saying, like you know, like uh, grifting Warhammer simps shekels. If that simp wants to give shekels to somebody, that's their choice. You're not necessarily making somebody do something. You might be dangling a carrot, sort of thing, but then that's the same thing with all the professional painters that do Patreons. You know, if you join my Patreon, you have access to this information that I have, and people seem to think that that will make them a greater painter. It comes with practice. Like, I'm not a great painter by any means of the words. I just paint because I've always enjoyed doing this. You know, and as I said, like, it makes no difference to me if content creator A does OnlyFans, content creator B does, you know, Patreon or whatever. I don't necessarily have to subscribe to them. If they want to do that and they want to earn some money out of it, fine. It's like commission painters as well. They're always advertising their stuff because they have to if they want the work. So, you know, and there's plenty of guys out there that want to sort of, it's part of the culture now, to be fair. All this like Patreon, Kickstarters, it is all part of the hobby. Some like horses. Forge of Mars OnlyFans, kinky robots in disguise. Hello, mouse. But this is the thing, like Francois, right? We're just having a conversation. We are discussing, like, you've brought some questions into this, and we're having a discussion. We're not like where you go into a Reddit and suddenly it's like blah 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 and stuff like that. You can have a conversation, and that's what a lot of things that is kind of wrong in the world. You know, there's nobody will actually just say, look, okay, I've heard your position. This is my position. I don't hate you for you having a position, unless you are sort of like hurting somebody with what you're doing, then that's wrong. But you can have opinions. You are allowed opinions. And that's something that a lot of people seem to sort of like forget. You know, opinion is something that, you know, it isn't law. It's an opinion sort of thing. But you can have conversations about all sorts of things, as long as like it's not, you know. Okay, I hear you say it doesn't matter, but I would argue otherwise. Where's my naked sister Repentia? My demon Cobra lore, my good rules of full options and choices. So that's the thing though. It's like, what's the rules for a naked sister Repentia then? How does having a model of a naked sister of battle, how does that, you know, make the game better? You know, if you want to paint up busts of femme fatales in poses, there's people that do that, and they do some great work with it. But with a hobby gaming thing, like, how is a naked sister of battle going to enhance your game? Like, I've seen some stuff where they done like a Mechanicum or a Magos, it was a female Magos, and basically got all the Makendrites and all that, the hooded robes, and then it's an open front with boobs. I've seen a Titan with boobs. How? I'm all for like the female form and all that sort of thing, but you know, in gaming terms, how does that have any impact on a hobby? You know, if you want to make a custom army, you make a custom army. You can do whatever you want with your hobby. You know, admittedly, you can't play with like models like that in a Games Workshop. Like over here, you cannot play with any models which isn't a Games Workshop model. If they see it, they'll ask you to remove the figure, sort of thing. So I don't get, you know, your full rules of options and choices with having a naked sister repent. I don't see the correlation. Like I said, we can disagree. We're talking about opinions. Yeah, but yeah, I don't get the correlation there. You know, you've got your models. You make your army. If you want to stylize, like my sister has Space Wolf army, and she's replaced all the heads with female heads because that's her army. That's what she wanted to do. So that's how I'm seeing this now. I literally have no idea what's happening here. Yeah. Warhammer is inclusive to everyone. Some people do take advantage of it, but mainly male dominant, and they will always try to profit from it. Men are simple creatures. We like boobs and beers. I like boobs and beers. I'm a great fan of boobs and beers, and I will say that anywhere, sort of thing. But as I say, like, I know GW is quick to blame rules on tawny players, but if you can't even decide where you want to go to eat, how you to choose how to equip your sergeant, I argued that it does have an effect on a hobby. Yeah, but that still doesn't. So how does that correlate with the earlier thing about your own space? Then it's not women in the hobby that are changing that. It's, as you said, it's tawny players. You know, tawny players will find the most broken ass thing going. Like, I was at a Horus Heresy Weekender when the Blood Angels book came out. Somebody mentioned, oh, I can do this with this model, sort of thing. And Alan Bly said, well, I know what's being FAQ'd on Monday. They are some of the best things to throw out is the rules to those gamers, because they will find the broken ass things, and then once they know about it being a thing, they do an FAQ. So, you know, we need tawny players because they want, you know, rules to play their game with and do whatever they want to do with it. But again, it's like when you was asking the question earlier on about the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts and all that sort of thing, that's an inclusivity thing. And then obviously with what we're going on talking about now, it's I don't know where we're going. But it's interesting to have a conversation about it. It's the same with gym culture. In the gym 5 days a week, and there is always these two women who are posing and doing photos for their OF. I don't agree with it, but the gym owner is dating one of them. Again, like, I can walk down the street anywhere in Essex and you'll see girls in a queue at a McDonald's doing a little posy face for the TikTok. Okay, do your posy face for your TikTok. It's not hurting my life. Not hurting your life. You're living your best life. You know, it doesn't. That is not something to get upset about. You know, that's the culture that is evolved into now, and we are, you know, we are the elder statespersons, and which is the worrying thing, because we're still fucking. I'm still fucking 20 on the inside. I'm just in really badly weathered and torn packaging. That Titan with boobs is pure heresy and deserves to be ended. I don't get it. I really don't get it. You know, but that is the world we are living in, unfortunately. It's a very strange, unnerving, unsettling place at times. The naked SOB is lore accurate. Well, no, it was a picture, wasn't it? We had these great models like demonettes, but they're demons, you know, and they're meant to look very like, especially demonettes and Slanesh. They're meant to be that sort of like, oh hello, you know, and you know, provocative. But they changed it because they thought, okay, it's like we're trying to get younger people into the hobby, and you know, mums coming in seeing demonette hordes. If they see a model with boobs on, they go, oh no, little Timmy, come away. But you know, some people are comfortable and complain about the Juan Diaz demonettes. Now we don't get nice things. Well, we do. You know, we've got nice new things, like the sculpts are so much better nowadays, and they're just basically not being, you know, they're not going with that sort of aesthetic. You can get those models. There are people out there that probably 3D print those models, sort of thing. And if you want to add them to your army, there's no one really stopping you unless you want to play them in a Games Workshop store. So in your local club, you know, against your buddies at home, you play with whatever you want. You know, and it's you know, it's just an official model. As I said, there are 1,001 unofficial models out there. Count as the place is like filled with bits and pieces. So if you wanted to have Booby von Boobison, the Sister of Battle, High Priestess of Badassery, you can still have her in your army as a model. Again, you know. I love boobs and beer too, but I dislike seeing a roaring good time in a friendly local game store go quiet, conversations change, and attention divided because a woman walked in the door. But you got to bear in mind, most women walking into the store are either generally buying presents for their sons, a significant other, or they are a hobbyist. You know, and you know, if you're like, good time is being disrespectful towards the opposite sex, then obviously, you know, you've gone quiet for a reason, because you don't want them to hear you, because you feel embarrassed, sort of thing. You know, I can have a good time anyway. I don't have to insult anyone or be like, you know, detrimental or sexist or misogynist or anything like that. But I know what you're getting at, sort of thing. And yes, I've walked into a hobby store and it's gone quiet, and I'm not a woman, you know. And it's not as if like I'm that well known, but when you have, you know, you have your friendly local game store locals and all that sort of thing, and you're chatting about whatever you want to chat about, it doesn't matter if it's a woman coming into the store. I walked into the Southend GW on a couple of occasions, and that happened. So it makes no difference, you know. If you're not known to the clique, you're going to go quiet because you don't know who they are. So it doesn't matter if it's male, female, or anywhere in between. If a stranger walked into your group, you would go quiet because you go, oh, we don't know who this person is. It's a natural response. So again, you know, there's nothing stopping you from having a good time. You know, if you're in a friendly game store, like Games Workshop over here, stopped managers from playing their own soundtracks, because most of the time they're playing heavy metal of some description, and sometimes they have explicit lyrics. And because it's a store which you could have younger people in, they don't want their stores having like the F bomb left, right, and centre. Nobody cares if you don't want women painting little war dollies or playing tabletop games. I'm not sure what hillbilly shop you hang out in, but no shop I've ever been in or tournament I've attended has ever been that way you describe. Yeah, and defo depends on the women. My local club has a beer drinking biker chick who plays Black Templars and AOS Dwarves. She's insane and is basically a lad around us. I'm the only woman in our club, and nobody gives a flying shite. We joke about me being the one to do the washing up, but that's it. Also, there's nothing you can do to stop us hobbying, so, you know, and that's what it is, you know, we are all hobbyists, you know, and that's the point. That's what, again, like Games Workshop was saying, like, you know, we are, you know, inclusive, but we don't put up with people that aren't, you know, really part of the community. Like, if you're part of the community, you get on, you have fun, you know, and play games and paint your models. You know, I've learned a lot from female hobbyists, like watching their content, you know, seeing what they do. I thought, oh fuck me, I haven't even thought of that. You know, my sort of mouse, the other mouse, not you mouse, but mouse, the bait, who is the official assassin of, you know, Russian bots and stuff. I've learned stuff from her just by chatting in this chat, you know. So again, it's not. It's all about your perspective. It's another hobbyist. They're no different, you know, apart from obviously being, you know, a girl. And what's not bad about having a go about a place? You know, again, it does. They're not sort of fucking like, you know, porcelain dolls. They can have a laugh. You know, you just got to get to know them. But if you say, like, if you're getting sort of, you know, upset of somebody walking to the store when you're having bants and stuff, then you got to be careful about what you're bantering about. You know, if I was in a situation and somebody was saying something which I thought was a little bit, you know, that's a bit too much, I would say something to them, and I don't care who the fuck they are. I'd say, you should, you know, I'd put them up on it in front of everybody, because you don't have to be that way. More webbing in the hobby is great. I enjoy having a partner who also played and enjoyed hobby with me in our spare time. My whole family play and paint together, and we love it. Imagine being angry about that, though. You may not like MG toe men, but there's millions and millions of MG toe men that feel very much like I do. The conversation started with retaining viewers and the occasional outspoken viewer. No, but with that, the outspoken viewer wasn't. It wasn't an outspoken viewer. It was basically someone who was basically sending DMs to female content creators, and that's the person we were talking about in that bit. Like I said, with retaining viewers, that was something of a personal thing that Krista was mentioning about, where, you know, you have your little friendly community and you have your regulars, and then you'd go and do a raid somewhere, and then you'd see one of your regulars hanging out there when they knew that you would be on stream, sort of thing. And it's, for Crystal, it was a personal thing, because she doesn't, you know, when she makes friends, like, you feel like you're friends, and that's the problem with social media. Like, you meet all these wonderful people from around the world, and you have that sort of connection, the bond, and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes you might read too much into it. You think, oh, well, I thought we were friends, but they go, oh no, we're just, like, you know, online friends, online associates or whatever. And there's no that loyalty sort of thing, and that's where it gets confusing. So that was that other thing that we was talking about. But I say, like, viewer retention, as I say, like, you know, you just go on stream and you put your stuff out, you know, and just see what's out there. That's why I turn up. This is the busiest this has been for ages. You know, I've been on here when I've had like 4 people viewing and nobody's talking, and it's nice to talk and to chat and to hang out with people and all that sort of stuff and discuss. You know, things. You know, normally nothing as heavy as this. You know, it's normally about, have you seen that new TV series? Have you, or have you seen the new trailer for the new Warhammer thing that's coming out? So yeah, there will always be guys out there who overreact and try and keep it to the lads only group, and also minus one was the one who introduced me to it. Yeah. So, you know, as I said, like one of my friends that I've made through the hobby and online, who I've met several times and will hug him in an instant, sort of thing. His wife for sort of 30 odd years, literally the other week said, "I'm going to get into painting this Warhammer thing." You know, no, I've been, you know, giving my husband a hard time over it over the course of our marriage, but I'm interested in it. I want to give it a go. And she started painting her first Space Marine. That's nice, you know. And they've started playing games together, and that's how these, like, it's again, because it's a hobby. It's something that anyone can pick up a brush and paint. Anyone can buy a book and play the game. There really shouldn't be, like, you know, all this sort of like them and us. It doesn't matter. As I said, I've said it several times. It doesn't matter. All it is another hobbyist that you haven't met. It doesn't matter, you know, where they come from, who they are. If they've got the dice, they've got the models, and they're painted, because that's the worst thing. Playing somebody who hasn't got an unpainted army, you know. That, why are you in this hobby if you're not going to paint a model? You know, you spend your money out, you paint them. Simples, you know, or you get commission painting to do it. But it's meant to be a fun activity. Why wouldn't want to, like, you know, everyone to be participating in something that you enjoy? There's no age limit to it. So that's it, you know. That's all I can really, like, you know, sort of voice on this is, like, you know, why not? As I said, like, I've had great games playing against, like in tournaments. I've played against a girl, which, you know, again for me, when I was at school, I used to play football for my school, and we played against a team that had a girl on the opposite side. For the first half, we did not know what to do. So obviously soccer, sorry. First half, we didn't know what to do because we're going, it's a girl, you know. But as soon as somebody actually just went and played football and tackled her, and she got up again, and she weren't crying or anything like that, we thought, oh right, okay, she can play football, and it was different. And then we played football. She still fucking was the most skillful player on the pitch, but we weren't standing off and treating her with like kid gloves. She was there because she wanted to be there, and she played the game. And when a woman comes into Hobby Star and she has her storage box with her, and she has an army in there, she's looking for a game, well, give her a fucking game. You might have fun. There's, you know, I'm not just saying that just to you, Francois. I'm not, like, in general, and anyone who's watching this, you know, it's another hobbyist. You say you could have a laugh. You could actually make a new friend, and actually, like, you know, enrich the life by meeting new people. I know that by playing the same people over and over again, it's boring. You've got to spread out, meet new people, and play games and roll dice. Meeting in real life is massively different to talking online. Exactly, yeah. Yes, Master Mouse, most people who share my opinions will never say a word. They'll just stop viewing your channel, which is the topic of the conversation. But that's their choice. You know, if you don't want to, like, you don't want to go out somewhere, or you don't want to sit at home and have to watch something that doesn't appeal to you. You know, the only time that I will sit through something that I don't have any interest in is because I love my other half. Luckily for me, most of the stuff that we watch is stuff that I have, you know, a weird fascination with, because I'm fairly open-minded, and you know, I'll accept all sorts of entertainment within a certain area. But if something did come on and I wasn't cool with it, I would speak up and say, yeah, I'm not really cool with it. And then she'll go, right, okay, well, we can either stop watching it, and I'll go, no, you carry on. I'll go do something else. But I don't have any problem with her wanting to watch that program, you know, because she wants to watch it. It may not appeal to me. You know, I had to stop watching. There was a film, Hannibal Rises, and there was a bit in there, and it was a scene, and it made me feel. It upset me because as a parent, I was starting to see things, and I really didn't. I felt uncomfortable, and I just said, I can't deal with this. I can't watch this. And she saw that I was upset, and she turned it off. We watched something else, and then we just like spoke about it. You know, we shared that moment, and I said what was upsetting me about that thing. That was why I couldn't watch it, and it made me feel better for sharing it. You know, but you know, you can't really. You know, if somebody's not going to watch my channel, they're not going to watch my channel. I said, and I was talking from more point that, again, like as Crystal was saying, it's like I used to have a lot more of my sort of online friends watching. You know, again, I would only get about 7 or 8 viewers if I was lucky. You know, and that's cool. I'm happy to have anyone here. You know, but I don't hold it against them. I might mention it to them when I see them and say, like, you know, but I don't begrudge them having a life. So if they want to watch me, they can watch me. If they don't want to watch me, they don't have to watch me. And I say that to people anyway. You know, watching me on here, coming onto the stream, is not, you know, you don't have to turn up here. If you want to come here and hang out, cool. It's no problem. But you know, there's no prerequisite. I don't expect that of anybody. So that's why, again, I don't push my channel, because I'm not about that. And as I say, you know, there's other things to be worried about. If you're under the opinion that Warhammer is for everyone, is actually ruining the hobby. Heaven has gates for a reason. Shouldn't this be a conversation we should all be willing to have? Yeah, but the whole Warhammer for everyone is, you know, yeah, it might seem a little bit weird, but like when you've got, you know, certain people glorifying certain things with the models, like, you know, having, you know, the whole 40k thing is satire. It was originally set up as satire, which has been lost over the course of the years. They're not as sort of, you know, poking fun at things as much as they used to, and it's taken a more serious edge. But when people are sort of, you know, putting on swastikas or, you know, Wehrmacht symbols onto their Lehman Russ tanks, and doing like their, you know, even Deathcore Krieg really is a bit close, but you know, they've given them a background and story. They are cool looking models, but you don't have to put on German paraphernalia onto them. And that's more the thing that they don't want. They don't want people glorifying, you know, the bad guys in, you know, one of the most horrific events of the 20th century, sort of thing, and also people that aren't being inclusive to others. And that's all it is. It's inclusivity. You know, there's no point gatekeeping. Why gatekeep? It's a waste of energy. because gatekeeping your thing, Games Workshop, you know, all these retcons, they find out you like a thing, they'll fucking change it. And it's all make believe. End of the day, it's a fun and chilled hobby, and it's open to everyone who wants to get involved. The more people in the hobby is better. Too many hobby spaces have been closing down recently. Yeah, there are. There's like loads of places. And if they're not, because people are playing online and stuff like that, they're not interacting, you know, they're not going into the stores. And without that support, they're going to fold. Master Mouth, do you believe Disney Star Wars is better now that they try to pander to larger and larger audiences? Well, that's their whole thing. Disney, you know, the Star Wars movies still make money. And that's all that matters to them. They're not there. Hollywood in general isn't there to put out artistic works. They're there to make money. That's all it is. You say like David Lynch said it many a times. You know, lots of actors, you know, like Willem Dafoe, it's even said like, you know, there's no, you know, it's all about putting something together that's going to earn money as cheap as possible, and it's going to earn money. That's all it is. And some of the best TV shows they've had recently, of where they've actually let the people, the creative people that work behind the scenes, the writers, the system, the series showrunners and all that sort of stuff, and basically support them and give them the resources to do what they envision, and you get great TV. You know, it's when they sort of like the Rings of Power. You know, it's not quite Lord of the Rings. They've done stuff there which is not, you know, I watched the first series and I watched it, it's alright, it's not the greatest. And especially when you look at when they made Lord of the Rings, like the armour and stuff like that, it looked better than what they was wearing, like the Numenor sort of wearing their, like, you know, sort of magic breastplates, which are very fit and flimsy. You know, they said they put like millions per episode, it didn't feel it, sort of thing. So if you don't have the right people, the creatives behind the cameras, and give them carte blanche to do what they envision, yeah, it might not pan out, but a lot of times it does. If it looks good, it feels good, you enjoy it more. If it's a well scripted, you know, episode, you remember it because that scene when that thing happened, sort of thing, and it has to look appropriate. But let's say Disney Star Wars, they had a premise, everyone kicked off with like, and they rushed it, and that was the problem. They spent out a lot of money to get the rights for Star Wars for George Lucas, and they rushed it, and then they made a series of miscalculations, and yeah, it didn't pan out. I'm not a massive fan of the sequels. I liked Force Awakens. With the second one, I could see where they were trying to go with it, but because of all the criticism of the first one, saying it was too like A New Hope, the second one was too like Empire Strikes Back, especially like, you know, the battle scene. It's like, oh, it's like fucking snow. Oh no, it's salt. Speeders and walkers. But that might have been them having a pop back at the fans for criticising the first one. So, and there was a few things, obviously the untimely death of Carrie Fisher, and they'd set themselves a path, and they made the job harder because they stuck with that path, and they didn't land the ending. Same with Game of Thrones. They rushed everything because what's his face, Vice and whatever his name is, wanted to get into the Star Wars, doing their stuff, and so they said, all right, we've got 13 episodes. We're going to do 13 episodes to finish it off. We're going to take 2 years for the next series and then finish off with these, but they'll be really long episodes. And they didn't land the project. Yes, they threw in the things like the George R. Martin thing is obviously the whole thing with Daenerys going the way she did. That would have worked out better if they had more time to do it. And if you put the time and effort into it, then yeah, anything can do it. Had to nip out and do some stuff. Seems I missed some heavy topics. Oh yeah, it's a conversation. Is it good to have more people join our community if they're just going to try and change it for reasons of political activism? Well, what are they changing for political activism? Like, the thing that they should have done, and I said this on stream, this was on Louise Sugden's stream, when he was talking about things. When the Primaris come out, make the Primaris have women in there. If you're going to create something new that everyone's going to hate, you might as well put in everything else in there that everyone's going to hate anyway. But, you know, because of one sentence in Rogue Trader, you know, and everything can change because canon gets updated and changed. You know, you can't build firm things. There's no sort of firm bedding to plant a flag in, because somebody said, "Oh, you can't have that." And they've, again, in several stories where Fabius Bile and, you know, characters are like a Belisarius Call saying, like, you know, we can do this sort of thing, because yeah, they won't look like feminine as such, because they'll look similar to Space Marines, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference between them because of, you know, unless they have their hair up one day, I don't know. But, you know, you can't. What's the difference between a female Custodes and a male Custodes? There isn't any. They've been genetically altered. So it's genetic biomass. And if you can make a male child into a superhuman genetic warrior badass, you can do the same with a woman. GW will do the hell they want with the law. They own it, so they can do anything with it. I saw Lutin's post about Doctor Who today. It was surprising to see him echo those talking points that others have had about it. I haven't seen that, so I don't know what that's about. Seemed to me a very large number of community would disagree with Femstode's retcons. But that's their opinions, you know. Their opinions don't mean anything to the corporation that are making these things. So if they've put in female Custodes and that they've been there forever, it's just that you've not seen any or mentioned in stories before, they can do whatever they want. And they're not going to change for you, me, or anyone. And yet I'm one of the few actually willing to voice it in chat. This goes back to my point about viewer attention, not criticising a person behind their back to their audience. It might lose. But there's not been any criticism towards anyone here. We're having a conversation. And that's what, you know, it's all about, is having conversations. And as you said, you don't have to agree or disagree or whatever. You know, you're having a conversation. You're asking questions and people are answering. And the silent majority. So, yeah, whatever. At the end of the day, big companies are not going to pay a blind bit of notice to anything that anybody says. So, be it Games Workshop that are putting out a fictional setting of their own devising through decades of evolution, sort of thing. If they want to change it, they will change it, and they did that. They got rid of Warhammer Fantasy, brought out Age of Sigmar. They can do that to anything because they own it, and that's why you've also got Space Marines, not Space Marines, they're Astartes, Adeptus Astartes, and the Astra Militarum, because they control the names. Like Space Marine, first mentioned in 1939 in a Robert E. Ireland story. They couldn't get the IP, they can't have the name because it was mentioned somewhere else first. So they changed. Adeptus Custodes, Adeptus Mechanicus, Adeptus Custodes are around anyway. But that's the thing. They've made their own thing. It's their own names. They have the copyrights on those names. They changed it because they can. I didn't agree with female custodians at all. Never in the lore was it mentioned, so I choose to ignore it and stay with my like for the original lore, where it was only men. They should just made Sisters of Silence and Sisters of Battle figureheads. Well, I always took the Sisters of Battle as like female Astartes, and they were badass in their own way. But I know guys who wouldn't have, you know, Sisters of Battle with dudes in there, and vice versa. There's even a Titan Legio who solely female Titan Princeps, Solaria, which is so badass. I love them, but I'm an Ignite fan. Titan Death is a really good fucking book, and it explains why the Legio Solaria were a all-female Legio. They're not an all-female Legio now since the heresy because of the losses. They had to get it, but the whole purpose about them being a all-female Legio was that it was their genetics. The Mechanicum cares not where the genetic material comes from. If it's from a good knightly house, of which it was, you know, knight houses have, you know, over the course of centuries created a lot of, you know, babies between the male and females. They have babies, and they have been genetically bred for certain things to do with knights and stuff like that. So all the men and all the women have really good genetics, and the Mechanicum went, we'll take your daughters off your hands because you don't like your daughters. We'll have them because we can utilize them. And then next time that the daughters saw their daddies, they were at the heads of Warhounds, Reavers, and Warlord Titans, whilst they were running around in their Imperial Knights. And it wasn't because, oh yeah, we chose because they're women. They chose them because of their genetic material. They don't care. It doesn't matter. It's good shit, and we can utilize it, and they did. And it made the book interesting because it's a different aspect having an all-female Titan Legio. But in other stories, there are other female princeps. You know, there's even several mentioned in like the Siege of Terror books with Legio Ignat, which I am also a big fan of, as you can tell. I agree, nothing wrong with female warriors in Warhammer. Half of all the Eldar are female warriors, and I love my Eldar, but why femstones? Inclusion is the Banana Boys version of the all men's groups. You can still have all men's groups. So, you know, women like football, women like soccer, again, you know. That was considered to be like a male sport, but you can look through the Super Bowl like the other week, there was thousands of women there watching, along with thousands of men. So, again, watching American football is a hobby, and you can have women there as well as men, as well as anyone else as well. I've had a jolly good day painting loads of models for all my tournaments this year, and lovely lads I know off to read Dynasty of Monsters in bed, ready for another day of hobby. Enjoy. Well, thank you for popping in, lass. Always a pleasure, never a chore. But yeah, I'll catch up with you again soon, and we can do some slaughtering of Xenos scum some point on Space Marine, and kick mucho butt. As a combat veteran, I can articulate the differences, many of which are based on biology, points many men agree with, but I don't think I need to. I'm sure you're aware of these arguments. I also know about obviously certain things, like there was a young woman who was in the USAF, and she was considered to be one of the best pilots they had, although she weren't allowed to serve on the front lines at the time because she had a better center of gravity, so she could actually handle G-forces better. But yeah, and there's a lot of women in the armed forces nowadays. Some of them are actually working in hostile situations, you know, on front lines in some cases. You know, unless you're sort of, it was more from the British point of view. It was more of a row thing, having a squad, you know, come up and losing a woman and finding her body. It would have a dramatic effect on morale, and they don't want troops to be getting emotional in a point where they want them killing people. So that was an official thing with the British Army. That's why they wouldn't have women on the front line. But now that's, again, it's changing. If somebody wants to do that job, they want to do that job. Fine. It doesn't mean that she's got to be shit at her job just because she's a woman. You get a lot of them serving in the Navy, you know, watching radar returns, even working as a gunner. You know, doing the hard slog stuff, yeah. Being a veteran, you're gonna be like, you know, you've seen some shit. You've been to some places. You know, one of my mates from school was SAS. When he was at school, he didn't want anything to do with the army. Next minute, he's been to fucking Iraq. He's been to Afghan, and then he went back to Iraq and working in private security. After he's sort of like, you know, came out of the SAS, went into the Paras, served in Northern Ireland. He saw some shit. And now he's back over here, and he's now a chairman of a minor league football team, amongst other things. He's got a lot of, you know, a lot of things going on. Just say the word, I'll swing into my salamander's armor, grab and meet you on the ship. I've got to go to work. Yeah, to be fair, I should have gone to bed about 50 minutes ago because I've got work tomorrow as well. Talk on the stream, you don't believe they're watching, may put a bad taste in the mouths of people watching, not wanting to be that guy and treated similarly for some comments they make in the future. They may just leave. Well, again, that's the whole thing with humanity. We have free will, and we can do whatever we want. And you know, if people don't like chatting hobby with me, then they don't like chatting hobby with me. There's nothing I can do to change that. You know, as I said, anyone can come in here, anyone can chat, and you know, we had a discussion, and we are now at like almost 5 to 12 over here. But now I must leave the stream, or I need to get up early in the morning for work. But it's been interesting chatting. I hope that the snow doesn't leave you, well, as I say, because you're where you are now, you're not expecting 6 inches of snow, and it has that adverse effect. But yeah, I hope that it thaws quick enough for you, and you can get about your everyday life as well as possible. And what is the? Yeah, it's still Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah. So apart from that, I'll be back on. Should be back on Saturday from 8 p.m. GMT, which is 3 p.m. EST, +1 Central. I don't know. But yeah, and until then, I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll catch you all later. Tatty buys peeps, and happy hobbying. Take care.